Yo, GM, we're live. It's Wednesday, December 14th, 2022. About to be 2023, baby. Have you been a good person? Is Santa going to bring you coal or some crypto? What's up, Corey? Man, we got a few weeks left of this year, which is just absolutely insane to me. Absolutely insane to me. I cannot believe that this year is over. And you guys know, I obviously had a daughter a little over a year ago. That, to me, was the fastest year of my entire life. It was absolutely insane. But I tell you what, guys, this has been a super cool year. A lot of changes, obviously, a lot of big changes. But I welcome them with open arms. Super excited. We're gonna have a great conversation today. We'll be joined by Real Barks in just a little bit here. She's super cool, fresh on the scene last couple months, but I know that she's been making a big splash. So really excited to chat with her about what she's got going on in the real world as well as here in Web3. I think that'll be a great conversation, and then just see what the community wants to do and where it goes from there. But no major agenda other than kind of checking in with Barks, and then navigate the daily discussion. What do we got? We can talk about the bank run on Binance. I was in that space a little bit earlier this morning with CZ's AMA. Really interesting. I thought Binance handled that pretty well. There's several $1 billion withdrawn in a 24-hour period, and I think there was a few times where maybe there was like some delays, like an hour or whatever. But for them to handle it as well as they did, I think that that says something. There's a lot of FUD clearly with what's going on with Binance and CZ. I thankfully, and this is a pretty cool thing that I've got in my cap, is because I'm from the crypto class of 2017. I got a CZ follow many years ago. So I thought that was pretty cool. That I'm going to try to reach out and see if we can even like literally for 5 minutes get him on a show once, just to ask him a couple questions. So we'll see. We'll reach out and see what he thinks and see if we can get him on there, because we have a DM open from several years ago. So, and every now and then I'll send him a message saying positivity, because he takes a lot of arrows, and just let him know you got an ally in the space. Oh, we got Real Barks in the house. Here we go. Coming on up. I will invite you as a speaker, and then if you want to be a co-host, you can. That way we can get more people up here on the panel when we get to that point. All right, I'll send you that co-host then. Boom, boom, boom. All right, guys, we're doing it again. We are multi-streaming this not only on Twitter Space, but we have got it going to YouTube, Twitter, and I added Twitch on there. So multiple platforms we are on today. Very excited to keep doing this, get this thing perfected, because I tell you what, it's when Chris and I were trying to both be on camera yesterday, and there was that audio glitch, and I'll tell you what, that was very annoying. But the moment that he captured with us headbanging, that was very organic but very funny. Anyway, what's up, Barks? How are you? I didn't hear you there. Why didn't I hear you?
Do you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yep.
Okay, perfect. I said GM. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Wonderful. GM. I love that. Let me get your question. Let me ask you a question on that really quick. This is something that I think about all the time. GM. Everybody says it. To me, it's more than just good morning. I think it's kind of like it's a state of mind here in Web3 and what we do. It's more than just a greeting. It's more than just a good morning. I think it lets people know that, like, hey, we're fucking doing it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I literally wear a necklace that says GM on it, and I wear it 24 hours of the day. Like it never leaves my neck. But I think that GM in Web3 signifies that there's always something waking up. There's always something new It's always a new day. There's always a new dawn rising. So it is.
But
It's more
I
of a
think that
a spiritual
GM
greeting than
in
anything.
Sorry. Still working out the kinks of this audio
You're
mixer.
good. You're good. I was just like, wait, is somebody else talking?
No, that was actually you. So I opened up the space because I'm multi-streaming this to a couple platforms. So I opened up the space so that it would show, who's in here, that kind of thing, and the audio just started kicking in. So it was you talking over yourself. So you should apologize to yourself.
Sorry, self.
So sorry. Go ahead.
No, yeah. So I just think GM is just such a beautiful greeting. I know it's a little cheesy, but I'm about it. I'm about that cheese. Like I'm cheesing over here right now as we speak. Like for real, let's do it.
GM. I love that. So listen, I was in the space that you were in last night, and I got to hear a little bit about your background and where you came from. The kind of some of the success that you had in the Web2 world, what you're doing, and I think that's an important story to tell. So I definitely want to get into that and just kind of hear your perspective in a different form on that. Because it was definitely pretty interesting, and not only that, but like I know that like you have gotten into some pretty good circles here in the Web3 world, and you're still pretty new to the space. And so, how's your journey been so far? Like, what's been the coolest thing? Kind of looking back at the success you had in the Web2 world, and kind of the space that you're making for your name right now here.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to give everybody a little bit of background on who I am. So my background is opera music and musical theater, as well as film and TV acting. So major influence in the entertainment industry. I started Maxim modeling back in like 2015, popped off on Instagram with that. Did acting for a number of years and then decided to get my real estate license as like kind of a way to supplement my life. My grandma suggested it. She was in real estate. That's kind of how she made her career moving from Mexico to the United States. So got my real estate license in October of 2019. And what do we know happened in 2020? Well, the COVID-19 pandemic. So immediately everything shut down. I mean, door knocking shut down, open houses shut down, everything shut down. We were showing homes virtually. It was wild. Like no one knew what we were doing. And honestly, like to be 100% transparent, and I speak about mental health all the time and the importance of it. But I actually have lived with depression my whole life, and I've noticed that when I'm not helping others, I'm more inclined to slip into those tendencies. So, and I mean, there's a difference between like depression in the sense of like, oh, I'm just sad, and mine where I'll notice like a shooting will happen, a school shooting will happen, and I won't be able to leave bed for like 3-4 days because I'm so upset about it, right? Because of just
As you should be.
Exactly. And just it really affects me in that way. So instead of getting sad about things, I've learned that if I can do something to help, it helps me from feeling stagnant, like I'm powerless. So when COVID happened, I created a Facebook group. I couldn't leave the house, so I created a Facebook group that was meant to help my neighbors. So I just started cold Facebook messaging everybody that had Glendale, California in their Facebook, and started adding them all to my Facebook and saying, hey, what's up? How you doing? Is everything okay? Is there anything I can help you out with? I'm your neighbor. I live right down the street. And people started taking me up on stuff. They started taking me up on groceries. They started taking me up on books for their children, toys for their kids, all sorts of stuff, and connecting with each other. That was the great thing. It wasn't just me. It was, other people volunteering to help out and step up. So it was a really just kind of cool thing to see, the power of a platform. So I created this thing, and people started reaching out to me not only for help in the community but for real estate advice. So I just started blending the two together. And now what it's kind of developed into is with every single real estate transaction, we do something to give back to the community. So we call a nonprofit of the client's choice, find out what they need, and then go door to door to the neighbors and collect all of those items. So it's become like a Web2 community of people that believe with every single real estate transaction, we should be giving back to the community.
Golly, I love that. That's super fantastic. So let's talk about the kind of the mental health and that whole space here, because I think honestly that it is so important for so many different reasons, right? Like one, everyone's got to remember, like most of us, we're at our computer. I don't know about you guys, but my screen time that my phone tells me is literally like in excess of like 15 to like sometimes 15 to 18 hours a day that I average, right? Which means sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, which is insane. So that means like when we're in this space, like we're literally connected all the time, and that shit will wear you down. And so I love that, that literally like I could pop into a space any day of the week and there's a mental health or mental health awareness or some kind of conversation that's benefiting people on a scale that, like, first off, I didn't know that there was that many people like me that like really like need this stuff. Like it is so important and so much needed. And something that I saw, along the same kind of lines, the other day was an article about there's some law firm, and I'm going to pull this up for anybody that's watching online. There's a New Jersey law firm that's actually connected with the Maury's to give them, and they gave them NFTs, the NFTs for a Christmas bonus or end of year bonus, whatever it was. And obviously with that comes mental health teletherapy, all the kind of stuff that's part of that collection. So like I love the focus right now in this industry that's being put on mental health and the awareness of it, because again, like when we're connected this much, and think about now when we get into the metaverse and people are just like fully immersed, and you might even lose touch on reality, how important staying connected to your mental health is going to be.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think mental health is one of those things where there are so many people struggling with it, and there are so many people who aren't struggling with it, but they're living with it. Um, and and it's so important to talk about. I mean, I'm so open about it. I have a service dog for my conditions. I do therapy every single month. I do it once a month. And if I could, I'd do it more. And sorry, my dog's going ham on a squeaky toy in the background. But yeah, I think it's something that I'm really grateful to see it in the Twitter Spaces, all the mental health check rooms, and I try and pop in there and kind of like say my 2 cents and hold space for other people as well.
Yeah, definitely. I see Turbo popped in. What's up, Turbo?
Yo, what's going on, guys? How you doing, man? This is a great conversation, about mental health. My degrees in psychology. We spoke a lot about mental health. I mean, literally, Web3 saved my life. And it's still every day is working to, improve my mental health. Being here, getting to meet people like yourself and other people in the space. Because for the first time in our lives, we have the ability to connect with the people who are most like us.
I mean, come on, it is so true. And like, I say in spaces a lot, like, there's two really fundamental things that I think that this Web3 ecosystem provides for us, right? In an unparalleled level, and it's a sense of community, and it's an access, right? Like you get access to so much, whether it's information, um, uh, attention, the ability to sit in a space like this and talk about things that matter to you, and have people like not judge you for it or say like, shut the fuck up, or whatever, because you can go into some crypto communities and they're very toxic, right? And I love now that to me it's very apparent that between crypto and Web3, which it's like the NFT community, there's a big difference, and I think that people have a better understanding over here, of kind of more that again, that awareness of people's mental health and how it's important. And this is a great place for me. I've always been a sunny side of the street guy. I've always been, I'll find the silver lining in about just about anything. But much like to what you said, Marks, like since the pandemic, like my mental state's changed, and I think that probably a lot of people, whether you can admit it vocally or not, would be in the same position. And so again, just the more and more that we can offer spaces like this for people to feel comfortable to talk in, You know, that's how we can help this space grow and like shine a positive light on it versus, you know, the bullshit that we're seeing in the news with like people like SBF and, you know, some more of that, you know, this the centralized entities that are ruining or at least putting a stain on this entire industry for all of us. When look, there's just a bunch of people that we just want to make this world a better place for us, and stop some of the corruption, the bullshit that we see, and we can do that. We just need some of these centralized greedsters to get out of our way.
Well, I think it really, man, it gives us the opportunity to see a need and fix a need. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's one thing that we're working on with our animated series of the Royal Dreads is adding in mental health, because it is a real life problem. You know, it is something that people need to identify. You know, because there are people out there who are suffering who don't even really know or don't have access to professionals who can help them. You know, so at least having a space where they say, hey, you know what, I do feel that way. You know, maybe I do need to ask for help, or finding a resource for other get-togethers or whatever it is. I think our IRL events in the Web3 are going to be huge in the future, especially as we begin to dive more into this and really can have time to sit down face to face and really kind of have these meetings where we're talking about this stuff.
I think that's going to blow people away too. You know, when they start to see really the importance that us as this community put a stress on these in real life get-togethers. Because yeah, it's great. It's great for us to be in these spaces. It's great for us to have these conversations. But there is literally nothing better than giving someone a hug in real life and saying, "Hey, it's good to see you," or "It's good to meet you." Finally after seeing your PFP for months. And I think the one thing we've had this conversation before about with what's going on with NFTs, like, oh, we got to have something physical. I need my phygital, right? Like, and I think that's maybe just to appease the masses, because if you're in blockchain, like like I don't need cash. Like, I don't need something physical. Like, this digital works for me. But obviously, to get more onboarding, I think it's that whole physical aspect that maybe people crave, right?
Yeah, I think that people do crave the physical aspect, but I think that um that can be acquired in other ways. Like, I know a lot of wallets and people are experimenting with having like a debit card situation. So that can, I think, give you that tangible feeling of something um to work for it.
Yeah, and I think that hopefully that feeling, that tangible, that now again, like the actual tangible aspect of an NFT or a piece of art, or even if it's just a physical, like a 3D printed copy of your NFT, whatever it is, yeah, like that's really cool. But that it is what it is, I suppose. Anyway, let's see. There was a kind of along these lines, Parks. You were in that space last night, and I think someone said something about WAGME, and this is kind of along that whole mindset of like GM. So, you do not like WAGME, but you do like NFTs are the future. Expand
Yeah.
expand on that a little bit more, kind of like what you think about that, and then like more of like, we talk about this all the time, that NFTs as PFPs is literally just the beta test for the whole ecosystem. As someone who's in the real estate industry, like you probably can speak to some needs, or at least maybe some ideas that really would be beneficial to that ecosystem, as far as kind of getting rid of uh excess spending and middlemen and title companies, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So just to give everybody like a little bit of an idea on the products that I'm creating, so that they can just so I can validate myself a little bit and give you an idea of the things that we are working on, so you understand what we can bring to for the future. So we have three Web3 projects. Obviously, in Web 2, I do sales of real estate, and I do that globally. So I work with real estate agents all over the globe to help them give back through their real estate transactions. And I help sell real estate anywhere in the world. Um, I do have goals of being the first intergalactic agent, but that those are just goals.
Hmm.
We'll see. We'll see where I get with that one. Um, but that being said, as far as the Web3 portion goes, we do have um, an NFT project, which basically decentralizes the multiple listing service, which is where you see all the homes on the market and get all the data of the homes on the market.
Mhm.
So what that would do is basically create an transactional service that would get rid of intermediaries by having its own KYC, so that we could have the transactions happening immediately and on blockchain, so they're verifiable, and it would be able to cut out all the intermediaries, right? So it would basically create a more relationship-based job
Mhm.
for the real estate agent to maintain that NFT, as opposed to only showing up transactionally. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's massive, right? Like, because
Yeah.
like when you say like you cut out intermediaries, like there is literally and yeah, maybe some industries will go away, but that's just what happens when things become a digital economy and stuff. But like literally, like having that turn into then the NFT. Think about like you get rid of the pre-approval process for the consumer is massive. Literally, like the smart contract would execute based on what you have like in your wallet, which when you initially like enter whatever the system is, like it knows what you got. So like, yeah, you could buy that NFT much like you could buy a Bored Ape or a Mutant. Like you don't need some other, like you said, intermediary to tell me, yeah, you've got enough funds, or yeah, I think we can approve your credit to get that loan. Like, no, you've got it. You can buy the NFT right now. It's yours.
Exactly. So if we've got that internal KYC, like just to give you an idea of what it could do for the future, I mean, we could take out loans that are backed by the community, that are backed by communally owned property. So there's a lot that we could do if we had our own internal KYC system. So that's really what I'm working on, getting that. But where I struggle with that is then, well, what do we do for all the undocumented people out there? How do we get them access to this KYC when they're undocumented? So that's just a thinking point that I kind of get off on. If anybody has any suggestions, I'm open. That's kind of what I love about this project, is that it's kind of an experiment that involves the community. But just to kind of continue on with the other projects that I'm creating. The second project is a proof of participation NFT project. So you get NFTs for things like showing up to beach cleanups, working for your local nonprofits, those sort of things that show that you're contributing, but also for things like showing up to therapy and taking your meds, things that are contributing to your betterment of self. So as long as you're contributing to self and community, you can gain access to NFTs, but you can also gain access to token. What this token does is it is the currency that we use in the ecosystem of Real Change DAO. Real Change DAO is a DAO that puts valuation on time and energy as opposed to material items, so that we can create a new infrastructure for transaction that is based on a more holistic style as opposed to materialistic style, so that we can create an accessible currency that's even accessible to those experiencing homelessness. And this currency can then be staked in tokenized fractional real estate, thus making even those experiencing homelessness real estate investors.
Golly.
Yeah.
I mean, that opens the door to so much. What's up, Turbo?
No, I was just gonna say, man, I love that so much because when I like homelessness was a big thing in Columbus, Georgia, when I was stationed down at Fort Benning, and it was something I really wanted to get in front of and tackle. And as I was sitting there, I was chatting with a group of guys. It was like it dawned on me, that I had never been homeless. Like I'm like how can I answer these questions for something I've never experienced? And so I went down and I spent that time like actually the camps. I picked up some cigarettes, a couple cartons of cigarettes, and some drinks and some food, and I just went down and we just talked. And the craziest thing that they said, like one of the biggest problems they have is being able to maintain their ID cards. To be able to have that to where it's easily accessible, I mean, would just completely change the world. We could help so many lives.
Yeah, I just, I think it's just that stigma of the digital ID that scares some people. But I tell you what, like it's going to change. And back to what you said, Parks, about like undocumented people. Like, how does that work in a digital world? Like, how can that even be manageable? Especially if people are skeptical, or you've got people, and clearly, like, you're not going to see people. And forgive me if I'll be as sensitive as I can when I say this. I just don't know any other way to say it. But when you've got like a lot of homeless people who have the mental illness and mental disorders, and they're not like, trust me, I grew up with people that, and like, I had a buddy whose dad who chose to be homeless, and because it was a better situation for him. There was a guy in the town that I grew up that chose to be homeless, because he was protesting what the city government did to him, whatever. But there are people that literally are there because maybe their mental state doesn't even know where they are. And so, how do we help these people? And then, if they need a digital ID, how can you convince somebody that is in that kind of a mental state that this is what you need to do in order to, to move forward, with where society is going?
Yeah, I think it's about not forcing anything on anyone, and always just being it's even almost as much as, like, we don't use the word onboarding. We use the word inviting. So we're inviting you into our community. We're not onboarding you to Web3. So it's that, like, how can we make people feel more like they're being invited to the most inclusive, exclusive party in the world, in a way that doesn't make them feel like they're getting the wool pulled over their eyes.
I, Listen, there are many things now that I am starting to see within this industry, that it's the nomenclature that either scares people, or it's not going to work. And so if onboarding is one of those words, we got to change it. NFT might even be one of those words. Like play to earn is definitely one of those words. We just there's just some things that we're how we say and describe and talk about. It's our way of doing it, and I don't think it works for the masses. And so, yeah, let's find some ways to blend in. I guess maybe we got to camouflage what we're doing, so that whether it's inviting people or onboarding, potato potato, but that at the end of the day, the end result is the same, and that they are either invited and they accept that invitation, or they're onboarded. You know what I mean?
I do, and I think that it is such a sensitive conversation for so many people, with the mental health and and the community that is facing homelessness, because it is triggering. So, I think the more that we talk about it, I think the better, because these communities. I think that the majority of people that are in the situations are probably facing some challenge with mental illness, right? So if we can if we can teach these communities that have never ever had a safe home to live in, that they are safe and that they have a community behind them. I truly believe that we can change the game for millions of people and give them some sort of self-worth. If you give people a way to earn income that is true to them, and I think that's kind of the problem with the system that we've created thus far, is that the system has created jobs and then they find the people to fill the jobs. What we need, what humanity yearns for, is a system where the people are created and then we find the jobs for the people, because people being created is the most organic thing in the world, right? It's literally the birth of humanity is the most natural thing that can happen. It's beautiful, right? But jobs, those are kind of like those are a made up thing to keep humanity going. So how can we put the human before the job?
That's that right there is probably a question that would solve most of humanity's biggest challenges right now. Bark, something you said there right now, a few seconds ago, really sparked kind of a thought in my mind, and I really, maybe this has now become my mission. Is that it sounds like Web3. we need to come together and to create a massive global awareness campaign of what Web3 actually is. Like, yeah, it's just the next iteration of the internet. No, baby, it's not that. Yes, maybe on a technical level, what it is actually it's community getting together to make something that's better for everyone. And if we can create a global size campaign to show people that, hey, listen, the people on the ground, the people that are here, we put in the time, we're here every single day. I don't care what the price of Bitcoin is, I'm not leaving. This is my mission. Is we need to like literally build this campaign and say, hey, listen, this is why you need to make that transition, is because the people here are trying to make the world a better place. We're trying to cut through all that government bullshit. We're trying to make sure that you are financially free. We're trying to make sure that we can expose what's happening in the mainstream media, that they're lying to you, that they're creating this narrative to keep us divided so that we can't come together. Because if we come together unified, guess what? I tell you what, the governments of this world have no power if we all came together.
Yeah, man, and I would say, we are probably one of the most special generations that have ever been on this planet. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you were born around the 80s, I mean, credit, the telephone, cordless phones, cell phones everywhere, tablets, FaceTime, the ability to connect. I mean, really, I think the one thing that we have to do is we have to step back and first educate, from whence we came, you know what I'm saying? So that we can truly understand, how fast we've grown and the abilities that have been given to us and kind of what that does in society. I mean, that's the one thing I talk a lot about with cyber emotional intelligence, right? Is how we interact and connect with each other. I think it's going to be, like a really huge thing that we need. And then, to go out there and to spread that adoption, we all need to be on the same page, having the same message, you know what I'm saying? Talking about the same facts. I mean, right now, so much innovation and people coming about that, it's hard because it's constantly changing every day. And I think I was reading a book about innovation and, like a way to really push society forward. And the one thing they brought up was Maya, and it's being the most advanced yet still acceptable. And I think that's one thing that we really got to keep in mind.
I like that. What's up, Zach? How are you today, man?
Morning. How you guys doing?
Wonderful.
So I know Chris said the other day he doesn't like when people jump back to earlier parts of the conversation. So I apologize for throwing off the vibe, but
no, we love it.
I kind of wanted to chime in with a few different things because I really like the ideas that you guys have been sharing. So here in the Sacramento area in California, there's a lot of homeless people. And I worked at a small independent automotive shop for a few years while I was going to school. And it was really close to one of the main areas where all the homeless people would stay. And I remember I used to try to help a lot of them out, but there's some of them that need a lot of help. They have mental health issues. They have a hard time taking care of themselves. There's other ones that have physical health issues and need a lot of help too. But then I remember hearing some stories. There was a few of the people in the different camps that were perfectly capable individuals, and I don't mean that in a bad way at all. And they were having a hard time getting out because people see them as a homeless person, and there was people walking around, homeless individuals giving out their resumes or trying to do different things for job interviews. And because they were homeless, people didn't even want to give them the time of day. So I really like that she had mentioned a proof of participation DAO, because that right there, if those people are capable, then they can show, what they can do. And so I think that's really cool, And going along with the, I'm going through a bad spot service-wise right here, so I might rug a little bit, but try to keep going. But going with the undocumented workers as well, or undocumented people, I have a lot of Hispanic friends, and it's kind of a tough situation because the immigration system for the United States is messed up. I mean, it's so difficult to try to properly become a citizen of the United States. And I know people that have been trying for 20, 30 years to get in, and for some little mistake or something they said wrong or something they did wrong, it's become almost impossible for them to get their citizenship. And then if something wrong happens, then they have to get sent back to Mexico and stay there for like 10 years before they can even try again. So the immigration process is really messed up. And these are people too that I consider them hardworking Americans, because they have a job just like I do. They pay their taxes just like I do. They work probably harder than I do. And they've taught me how to be a hard worker and have a good work ethic. And even other people that aren't necessarily from South America or different places like that, and people that have money too, they come in and they try to get their citizenship, and it's just hard. And so, kind of going along with that, I think one of the biggest reasons I know a lot of my friends came here from Mexico is because the places they live in Mexico aren't safe anymore. You know, they can't feel safe and secure. They can't feel comfortable. And so they come here looking for a safer place to live. And so that's something too, like, you know, that should be like a basic human right. You know, it should be safe to live in an area, you know. And so I can't really complain, you know, that the system is unfair and they don't feel safe where they are. And so they try, ideally they'd like to get here legally and you know, be documented and everything, but the system works against them in a lot of ways. So also going along with that, in Web3 and in, you know, if in Metaverse, when work starts going in the Metaverse, if a person has a safe place to stay, I think, you know, proof of identity is probably going to be the most important thing, because you can prove that you exist. You can prove that you're not a bot. But if you're safe where you live, then you don't really have to worry about, you know, being documented or where, I mean, you're a naturalized citizen wherever you are. And I think, you know, that online or the virtual community will be a way that people can work and make money, you know, if they get involved with different crypto projects, or even, you know, as more mainstream stuff becomes, you know, blockchain oriented, then people can work from where they are and earn money. And the other thing too is if they earn money in crypto, then they can convert it into whatever their native fiat is. And I feel like a lot of this stuff is years and years out, but I feel like this whole global connectivity and being able to earn money online and all this stuff solves a lot of problems, is in the way of, you know, finding people to fill a job instead of people working to do something or working to contribute. So sorry, that was just my rant. I mean, I really like what you guys are talking about. I think it's a really good conversation. I really like a lot of the ideas you're bringing up, but some of the stuff I kind of want to chime in with, because I think it's a great conversation.
Well, I appreciate your contribution, Zach. I know you've always got some really good perspectives. I love when you chime in and give us your feedback and value add, because I tell you what, man, you are definitely a valued member of my community. So appreciate you popping in. And you know, like, you know, we make that joke about popping, you know, back and forth 40 minutes, whatever. It is totally welcome here. I know that, you know, the way the conversations had tend to go is, you know, we're talking about one thing and then you know, we spin it in something and then we want to bring it back because there's always something really important to add to it. So anybody listening, like if you are part of the conversation, or even if you're down in the audience and you thought of something right now that, again, talked about, you know, 30 minutes ago, it doesn't matter. Come on up on stage and ask your questions and be a part of the community and the discussion, because this is literally why I do this. And I love this so much. And I just love being able to talk with people. So thanks, guys. What's up, Chris? How are you, man?
I'm good. I came up to just make sure everybody stays on track and the conversation is one directional. Only move forward. We do not go back. I'm just kidding.
Stick to the itinerary.
That's right.
It's the Twitter space crossing guard.
Well, you need it, right?
I got my little vest on. Yeah, man, I'm all set. I wake up, first thing I do, vest goes on. Like, all right, we're gonna make sure this thing keeps trucking forward. No, I'm actually I'm in the back looking at ice and it's snow weather. It is very very not SoCal. weather out here. But I was listening to Bart talk about Glendale and all the stuff, and I'm like, there are so many amazing people here in Web3 that are local, and damn it if we don't need to get together and make content and talk and do these things. And at least all we could do is look at Jay Chain's beautiful face as he's talking in this space. So I posted down below, you could be watching on YouTube and you can be listening in the space.
You could do it all. You could literally can do it all. That's
enjoy this man's face.
You're funny. But one thing
I gotta say,
go ahead, Turbo.
Oh, real quick, James. I just want to say this real quick because Chris had brought it up. I took his Shredditor class on his website. Chris's class. It was a dope class, man. I highly recommend everybody to go to Chris's page and take that Shredditor class because it was actually really good, and it provided a lot of value for me.
I love it, man. Turbo, I want you to be, we've talked about this a couple times now. I want to build like a squad of superheroes, and maybe that's what it is that our squad of superheroes is the one that builds that massive global campaign that shows people and highlights like, look, like we are just a bunch of people that care about other people that really want to make this place better, not only for ourselves but I think future generations, right? Like I'm a dad, I'm a girl dad. Like I want my daughter, and again, she's raised in this ecosystem. She's been to 10 crypto, blockchain, NFT conferences already. She's only like 14 months old. This is I live here. This is where she's going to live. I want her to be a builder in the space too. So if we can set the tone and build this shit right, right off the rip, we're doing it for our, not only our legacies but our future generations. So let's do it, man. I want you on the squad, Turbo, and Barks. You too.
I completely agree. I'm totally in, and I'm about it. Like, I think that it's so important to not only teach people like, yes, superheroes are real. Like superheroes do exist. People that can create change and save the world do exist. But the capability of being a superhero is also that's in everyone. So it's like, how can we spread our message to be like, you're all superheroes. Like, let's all create change. Let's all elevate.
I mean, that's the campaign. You're a superhero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everyone, and you just teach people that they are a superhero. Like it doesn't matter like if you wear spandex underwear or not, like you are a superhero. Like you can do something positive that will change. If you can change one person's life, you're a superhero.
Yeah, exactly. And just to kind of like get back on topic to the whole like real estate conversation of like what we were kind of talking about before and what Zach's money was saying. It's like we need to teach people not only are they superheroes, but they are safe in their bodies, in their own space, in their homes, right? Because a lot of these people haven't had safe spaces at all, and they haven't ever felt safe in their own bodies. So how do we expect them to take care of a space and B, not litter and take care of themselves, right? They've never been taught that they are worth doing that. So once we teach people that they have value behind their life and that they are worth investing in, and that word investing is one of those words where like is one I've had to take out of my vocabulary now that we're a nonprofit, because we don't invest in anything. We support and we organize and we donate. But sometimes investment really is the only word to properly explain what you're doing. And I think that sometimes when you invest in yourself, that's one of the best things that you can do for yourself. So how do we teach people that they are worth investing in so that then they can take care of themselves, they can take care of their surroundings, they can take care of people around them and spread love and not just be in survival mode all the time. I think that's what we've got, is just a mass group of people that are constantly in survival mode.
That to me is the quote of the day. And I'm going to put a tweet out. How do we teach people that they are worth investing in? That's so important, right? I think that's an amazing thing, because that becomes the message. That's the purpose then. Like, listen, you're a superhero. This is why you're valuable. This is the worth that you have. I mean, there's just so many ways, literally, that becomes the message. Because again, Web3 is all about, we're all positive. Like, you know, none of us are, and there are people in the space that are obviously here for the wrong reasons and that are bad. There's nothing we can do about that. But the people that are here building, putting in time and trying to find solutions, that's all we want. We just want people to know that, like, you know, we're here to help and make it a better place.
Exactly. We're just here to help, and that's the thing, is it's that trust. How do we build that trust? And that's honestly something I learned from sales, because in sales they say, you, in order to make the sale, you got to contact them anywhere between 7 to 11 times, and they have to know you, they have to love you, and they have to trust you. So in order for people to be welcomed into our community and feel welcomed into the community, what do they have to do? They have to know you, they have to love you, and they have to trust you, whoever is bringing them into that community. So it's just building this network of trust. And that's why I think Web3 is the perfect platform to do it on, because it offers that transparency that most nonprofits don't have. It offers that democracy that most nonprofits don't have. Web3 is the perfect venue for it.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. Go ahead.
Hey, I just want to chime in a little bit too, because I really like what you said there too, and that's a really good question: is how to teach people that they're investable. You know, like, I think it comes down to people being comfortable, like she was saying, and
empathy.
Yes,
it's a combination of empathy and persistency.
Yeah,
100%.
Love it.
and but the cool thing about Web3 too is, like, I mean, you can bring like-minded people together from all over the place. Like, I'm here in Northern California, you guys are there in Southern California, Jay Chains is over in Georgia, and we're all here basically in the same room, in a sense, talking about, you know, these great ideas. And I've been in other spaces where there's been people from South America, other people from Africa, people from different parts of the world, all talking about the same things, coming up with great ideas. And that's something that I really like about the space too, is since it's a global community, you know, there's people that come from totally different backgrounds, have totally different experiences, and they have so much to add to the conversation that many times we don't really even understand, or we've never thought of that because we've been in different life experiences. So I agree, Web3 is a great place for learning, for helping people feel comfortable. And, you know, that, like I had mentioned before, that participation, once people feel comfortable enough to participate and they feel like they're valued, their opinion matters, their participation matters, all that stuff helps them build their confidence. And then they start to feel, oh, you know, what I'm doing is helping, it's contributing to the space, it's contributing to the community. And I think that experience, little by little, helps people feel that they're investable, they're contributing and stuff like that. So yeah, I really like where this is going.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's, you know, that it right now, we say, and I think it will be an evolutionary thing. Like right now we call it Web3 because that's just where we are. And when we, you know, shift over to the metaverse, it's going to be that same thing. But you know, it's all about the inclusivity. It's all about, it's borderless. It doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, what you sound like. It's all about your contribution, and that at some point I think is going to be the only currency that you can earn is your contribution, right?
Exactly, and that brings us a good point too. And Expoverse, I see you. We'll get to you in just a second, but just to raise the question of plutocracy, right? Plutocracy is the idea of a hierarchy, that some people do have more power than other people. Their vote counts more than other people. Do we have problems with plutocracy? Because if we are creating a society where plutocracy is built on contribution, that leaves way for the true leaders to stand out and hold the majority of influence. So do we have problems with that society, or do we not? Because we say that we have problems with people holding more power than others, but do we truly have problems with that, or do we just have problems with the people that are holding power? And that's kind of a question that I would like to pose for everyone. But Expoverse, let's get to you. What's up, friend?
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me up here, Bark, J Chains. Yeah, pleasure to be here, guys. This is so funny. Actually, I've been listening in, like I keep turning up and down my volume because I was on a call for work, and this is like so real. We were chatting about like how this is all going, like this whole Twitter space thing and Web3. And I worked for Expoverse. I'm not going to shill it. We're an event company though, and it's all catered around Web3, blockchain, Metaverse. J Chains was a great host at our last event. Got to give him flowers there. So it's really interesting right now because like the market has gotten dark. And we're sitting here like, you know, we're all in this space. And I got to hand it to you, Jay. Like, keep holding these, man, because this shit is holding together the ecosystem right now. Because I can tell you, people are a little worried. And yeah, we just had a whole team meeting about what are we going to do to hold community together, to really keep growing over these next like 2 to 3 months. Because right now, with the holidays, things are looking a little sketchy for Web3. I think the attention is taking a little bit of a shift away from things. It's definitely not dead, but I'll tell you one thing, guys. How many are in here? I'm looking at everybody's PFP on my screen right now. And yeah, I'm telling you, we are holding this together. It's these spaces. It's the few people who show up to speak every day. And that was the realization I just had over my last hour here, was looking from this space to the meeting I was on. I was like, damn, like, we got to hold this together. This is it. This is like not the final battle, but this is a big battle when it comes to resisting total collapse, really, of Web3. We don't want this shit to go to zero. We really believe in this technology. So I'm anxious to see if these can just keep holding out. Yeah, dude, Web3 breakfast. Jay, you got to have it every day here, man. Every day. Let's get those pancakes. Let's get that bacon. Let's go. Pour that maple syrup, baby.
Let's go. It's the best way I don't eat breakfast, but it's the best way to start your day. So make sure, you know, you start your day every day with a little Web3 breakfast, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. But I appreciate you. I appreciate you, man, coming up here, Ken, and saying all that stuff here. Listen, like, guys, this is probably about as close as if you were to guess. It's about as close as we can get to the bottom without fully predicting it, right? And it's not timing in the market, it's time in the market. So if you haven't capitulated yet, please don't do that now. That would be absolutely stupid to sell everything you got and leave this ecosystem. Things will come back. And like he was saying, like, you know, the attention is down right now. And the people that are here, the people that show up, the people that are putting in the work, the people that are here putting in work, you will be rewarded for it when the markets come back. And whether it's in 2024, 2025, whatever it is, whatever this debacle with FTX does long term, which I don't really think it's going to change it too much, right? I think we're still online with the 4-year cycle. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm predicting. Until it changes, I mean, you know, if it's not fixed, don't broke it, right? If it's not if it's not broke, don't fix it. And so until we know that it's changed, like, let's just go on with that plan. So that being said, again, guys, like, markets are cyclical. They go down, they go up. This is not my first rodeo. I've seen capitulation before. I've seen the salt levels in crypto Twitter. That didn't happen this time, guys. But I have seen a lot of people leave the space. And so that means that we are pretty freaking close to the bottom. Don't leave now. Keep building, keep grinding, keep stacking, and you will be rewarded for it.
I truly agree with you. I really do. I think that the people that are building right now, what we're going to see come out of it is going to be so. I think the things that are going to rise to the top are going to be community driven, are going to be the ones that have been focusing on building communities.
That's, and again, remember, that's it's one of the pillars in my opinion. I think there's a couple of people that would agree. Community, the access to a community, to build a community, to be a part of a community, just access is right there. Community is, I'll tell you what, it's all we got. As someone who creates content, someone who consumes content, I'm part of this ecosystem 100%. I've given, this is what I do. Without a community, I'm nothing. And so that's how important it is. And I think, you know, like, you know, kind of going along with what you just said, like, you know, maybe if we do create this massive global campaign, you know, we do it as a DAO, and we get, you know, some national exposure on commercials all over the world of, you know, the message of what we're trying to accomplish here. I think that's very doable, because with if we get a large enough group, it's very digestible to make stuff like that happen.
100%. And I also wanted to do a big GM to Shitty Poet and just send her some love. I know she had her hand raised for
GM.
Oh my God. Thanks for the shout out, Barkley. You're amazing as always. I was actually about to send you a DM about something me and Meta are working on, but that's a different story. Anyway, I would just want to address some of the fears some of people are feeling. So have you guys seen the adopters chart? There are the adopters curve. I can post it in the chat, but there are like and then early adopters and then the early majority. And I think a lot of you guys were in the the innovators or the early adopters part of the sector in the NFT space, the Web3 space. So you guys saw the shit that was happening at the beginning. So you guys are, so there's a lot of fear now and a lot of people want to leave, but right now there's a lot of people actually coming into the space that maybe a lot of people don't notice. And we're the early majority, and we've seen what's happened, and now the curve's gonna go really go up, you know. And like that's what I think, at least. There's a lot of people I know that are like pushing NFTs and Web3 and the Metaverse into like Barkley, for example, into places that it hasn't gone before. And I just see big things for everything. So all this fear everyone's feeling, like try to take a deep breath and let it go, because it's all gonna be okay. And you were just the first people here and you had to deal with the shit. There's gonna be less shit. But be happy that you were the first people here because you got in on it early.
You got it.
And that's all I want to say.
Well, that's amazing, and I agree with you. And you can still say that you got in early. That will fade. It is, you're not as early as you were a couple years ago, but you still earlier than the people that'll come in the next cycle. So definitely pat yourself on the back for that, because you are here early. What's up, Baron?
Yo, what up, dude? Good morning, everyone. No, I heard this, and I thought this was interesting. I wanted to share this with you guys on this topic. Is someone made a comment to me the other day, like, in Web 2, when they got in, you didn't know anyone at the top. There was no one accessible. Now, you're early in Web 3 because some of the most top tier professionals and creators in the space are truly accessible to you. And some of them may even know you on a first name basis. That's how young we are, So when people think of like, oh, are you new to Web 3 or whatever, don't think about it like that right now. Think about it overall as the entire environment is a brand new place and the ecosystem is still growing. So you might actually become one of those valuable assets down the line. You're not, who's to say? Right. So I thought about that when someone told me that the other day. I thought how interesting it is. You can go in these spaces and talk to J Chains, right? And he's been on YouTube forever, but now he's accessible. And you have other peers around the Web3 world just like hanging out in spaces, clearly accessible. So it's a very interesting new time.
Oh man, 100%. And along that same lines, to be perfectly honest with you, like, yeah, I am streaming this to YouTube. I've been doing YouTube for so many years now. It's just like what I know. But to me, this is where it's at. And I've said this in a space before. Like on YouTube, you're basically you're at your podium and you're speaking to people. Whereas here on Twitter Spaces, like what you just said, like I get to be part of the community. It's not me just talking to people, it's you guys engaging, it's me listening. We all get to learn from each other. Like this is literally one of the most special times to be a content creator, because it's community. It's not just a singular person. And I think that's so important to me. And so thank you for pointing that out. And I think that that's important to know as someone who does this for a living, that being here with my people is way more important to me than shooting a YouTube video. I can promise you that.
Dude, you just totally made me think about one of the coolest things when anybody's trying to connect, when they're watching a movie or they're watching a YouTube channel or something like that, and they post in the comments and they're trying to get attention. They're like, hey, I support you. I want you to know that I'm watching this or whatever. And it's the coolest thing when they get a response, right? Like it sounds dumb, it sounds minimal, but it's truly the case that we care about ourselves and we want to be acknowledged for for knowing somebody and for them to see us. Like Gary V follows you on Twitter. You're like, oh my God, look who followed me. That's a big thing. But Twitter Spaces is actually, it's such a different opportunity because unlike YouTube, same thing, been on YouTube for so many years. And if somebody writes a comment and then you comment back to them, maybe they care. If you use their name when you comment back to them, like maybe they feel even better. But hearing their name come out of your mouth, especially in a two-way conversation, like that's everything. That's so much more valuable for that person to be able to have a thought, share it with you, and then you be in that two-way communication that you really don't get anywhere else in all these different social media places. So and then the other part too is like they could be anywhere in the world. One of the things that I'm not sure is happening in this space right now is it's not being pushed out to Facebook. And on the topic of like South America, dude, some of my favorite creators I've got to meet in this Web3 space are in South America, and Facebook is huge there. I wouldn't know that if I wasn't on a team with them. But these people are blowing up and doing all this cool stuff, and there's very few voices, like Spanish, like native language content that's going out there, and there could be. And we're all learning from each other on all parts of the planet. So maybe maybe J Change is a big deal down there in South America, and he doesn't even know, and he should be talking with those people that just want to be able to connect with him. So yeah, I love that we're so much more connected than ever before here.
It's amazing. What's up, Marks?
Yeah, I love how the access that we get from Twitter, from all these different social medias. As I said before, like my background is mainly Instagram, so like I'm used to posting up a photo and then getting 1,000 eyes on it like immediately, right? But when I started advertising, and I think this is like a really interesting point to realize and see about real gratitude, is that when I started quote unquote lead generating for real estate, I was broke. Like just to give you a little bit of background, during the pandemic, I was going through like this massive breakup, lost my housing in Los Angeles, was literally sleeping on friends' couches as well as at my uncle's cabin in Big Bear and driving to Los Angeles for work. It was rough. So I was like completely broke, right? The one solution that I found to help with advertising for free is door knocking. So as opposed to I was going to social media because social media is also free as long as you're not boosting. But door knocking was actually the avenue that I started going to and started hitting door-to-door sales of people, just getting them to donate. And what I've realized is 10% of the people that I get, that I door knock, donate on the spot. And 40% of the people donate later. And 55% of the people give me their email address. In the beginning, I don't even mention Web3. They don't hear anything about Web3 until I start dropping it in little introductions, right? And then we start introducing them into it. So they don't even know that they're being invited into a Web3 community until they're like knees deep in it. And I think that it is important to not neglect these other ways of marketing like Facebook, like Instagram, and not get trapped in our little Twitter bubbles that are so comfortable. But incredible. I love it.
Absolutely. And that's it, because we've heard this conversation. We've had it here before as well. It's like, what are you looking for with mass adoption? What's the number? What how do you know you're there? Do we need, what is that magical formula? Well, there is none, right? Like, I think once that you can use the technology without realizing you're using it, and like what you just said there, I think makes so much sense. It's like, hey, let's just talk about either the problem and the solution, and then we'll bring it back to Web3. And then look, there wasn't like, I didn't talk above you. I didn't say a bunch of shit you didn't understand. Like, I made it very relatable. And then look, this is how it all works. And then once you can get people invited that way, and they accept your invitation, then truly we can use this technology without having to explain it. Because like, that's the thing, with like the internet, like does someone need to explain the internet to you to turn it on and to search for something? No. I think that's the turnoff, right? we just need to figure out how to use this stuff, and so people can use it without realizing and having to be, Web3 explained. Turbo.
It comes back to trust. Everything that Barks was saying is trust. She goes out and she develops that trust with her people. You know what I'm saying? And then, once she has that, she's able to open them up to other ideas and outside thinking. And I think that that's what we're doing here. We use the word, community a lot. And I was looking up the definition of community, and it's a group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristics in common. I feel like we're more like tribes. I feel like, we in the beginning of the show, we talked a little bit about PFPs. And, I think that, the PFP has so much power that we haven't even tapped into yet, because that's our way of identifying like who we are, who we associate with, our common goals and interests in a very quick and fast way. And it goes back to the tribe, because when you look at the definition of tribe, it's a social division in a traditional society consisting of families or communities linked by social, economic, religious, or blood ties with a common culture or dialect, typically having a recognized leader. And that's what we have here. Jay, we look at you, there are people in here, that really look at you as a leader. I know I do. And we've had that conversation. You're someone that, that I trust, someone that I've developed a relationship with. And when we put it all together, everything we spoke about today, it really comes down to consistency, honesty, and integrity. You know what I'm saying? Just being here, having honest, open conversations, allowing people to be involved, and doing the right thing, moving forward.
Well said, man. I love it, and you're very kind, and I appreciate those words. Again, listen, I can only do my part, right? Like I keep my nose clean. I don't ever get myself involved in things I don't think are the right idea. And so by doing that over the course of the last several years, yes, I appreciate that. And I would say that I am considered a trusted name in this industry, because I don't get involved in scams. I've never participated. I've never promoted one. I've never done that. And that's, I think that's very important to me. But I think, we're all in the same playing field, and you can look up to me as a leader. I'll tell you what, man, after having a conversation with you and knowing your story, I look up to you as a leader, man. Like, I think, and that's one of the beauties of Web3, is that I might have more time in the space than most people. But I am by no means better than anybody. We are all on the same level, and I love everyone, and I appreciate everybody for who they are and what they are. I think that's another main message that we've got in the space, is that we just need to appreciate each other and thank each other, and just tell each other that every day. I think that, again, the positivity is going to win the day. And some people were talking about, Ken, you were talking about Web3, and people are scared and capitulating. Listen, that's another thing, and hopefully people have understand that throughout the many years that I've been doing this, is that my message has always been positive. Like, I'm not trying to scare anybody in anything. Listen, the markets are going to come back. Don't be afraid. If your portfolio's down, do what I did. I bought NFTs. I don't have to look at a down portfolio. I can look at a portfolio of pictures that I truly enjoy, and that has totally changed my mental space for this build market versus ones in previous cycles. And I can tell you what, as someone who's done this, I have definitely been very sad looking at a couple comments go down to one. Guess what? Now I can look at my pictures and I don't feel that same emotion. I'm happy. And so if I can keep myself happy, and the message and the content that I put out is positive, that's what wins the day, is because people just need a place to go and to be positive and remain that. And let's go.
Yeah, man. I just want to say on that, Jay, a great leader knows when to follow great leaders. When I was 20 years old, I was in Iraq. I was in E5 commanding troops on the battlefield. And it was like, there was times when, I had to be led, and there was times when I had to take charge. And all of that is what builds great leaders. And you have that, Jay, even not having that experience. And I appreciate what you're saying. That's what we're doing right now. We're coming together. We're finding the people, we're developing trust. And, we have a big mission out there. I really want to change the world. That's really what I'm here to do. And I know AI Love had to stand up. I'm sorry, AI.
Nah, man, shoot, I'm digging the vibes. GM to everybody, all my Web3 D-chans. Yes, we're all degenerates because we're doing something that the majority of the global population are not participating in. So take pride in the name, take pride in the game. It's funny, Jay Chains, I would sit up here listening to you, and it's totally like I'm on parallel with you, right? This is an ecosystem, right? And an ecosystem, it's bartering, it's trading, right? So, yeah, the market generally on an overall scale may have gone down, But when you're building inside of the ecosystem, when you're interoperating with each other, there are ways that you can stave off the losses, right? It comes down to understanding basic economics, and I think that that's an overview. People people look at crypto, look at anything that has to do with traditional finance, and there's always a id attached to it. But I think what the real Bark said was absolutely true. Like, that's something that I came to realize. I remember my first time getting into sales and marketing, and it was like I was so intimidated by the fact that I wasn't going to get paid on an hourly basis, and it was all up to me to generate a paycheck, right? And it was the most uneasy feeling that I ever had in my life. But what it did was it opened my eyes to the realization that, hey, I don't, to make it to a particular level and a particular scale, and this is why I really love Web3, you really don't need to get everybody, right? You just need to get that 10%. And with that 10%, you're able to achieve compounding interest on whatever endeavors that you're actually attacking. If you use that same metric and you use that same principle, you're going to get the same reciprocated results, right? Like no matter what. And that's something that really took my mind, and it just really opened it up. And then, you marry that in conjunction with what we're doing here in Web3 and digital rights and ownership, right? And removing the intermediary, the third party. It presents us a layer of opportunities. And when I saw you post that, how do we teach people the value of themselves? And it's like, it's something that they actually have got to experience, right? Because up until the point to where I was forced to work a commission job, I would have been 9 to 5 my entire life, right? And it was that one moment that really shifted my perspective on the value of what I have, right? Because if I work a 9 to 5, I'm working next to my counterpart. I'm an incredible. I like to feel myself as a leader, and I'm also an incredible student, right? My teacher told me long time ago, lifelong learner or lifelong loser. You got two choices, right? So I always try to hang around people that are gonna, that are better than me, and for people that have share similar interests, provide them as much knowledge as I possibly can to help them move forward and help them transgress. And I think that that's a huge part of how we obtain these roles here in Web3, and that's why you are a trusted figure. Before I even met you, we ran across each other in the space, and when we ran across each other in the space, man, I didn't even know your background. I didn't know anything about you other than the fact of the way that you talk and the way that you carry yourself and your lovingness and your compassionate and your drive for education, right? And I think that that's the number one thing that's truly missing from the space. It's going to be hard to get that mass adoption if when someone asks somebody, "Oh, what is crypto?" and the only thing that they can refer you to is a reference point of a meme coin, right? Like we need to be able to explain the value to others in a simple manner that doesn't overcomplicate the situation. We're in a technical arena, but what we're doing here, it doesn't need to be so technical, right? It just needs to be, hey, if you're not familiar, let me show you. Let me guide you. Let me be your beacon of light so that you can actually start to see. And once people start seeing the community, once people start coming to the realizations that the only barriers, the only obstructions that are really placed in front of us with our day-to-day struggles are the entities that are keeping these things in motion, right? We all come from different diversities and backgrounds, but we're able to come together for a common unity to build something. And look at where it started and look at where we're currently at. We're all obtaining different levels of freedom. And because we're in this space early, we're going to reap the benefits of not only being pioneers, but also being educators to our next generation of Web3 joiners. So I just want to, thank you yet again. Anytime I'm in a space, I try to keep my etiquette and my manners up. Give the host a retweet. Especially if you're coming day in day out, and you're really receiving true value. That's how we spread the word out, and that's how we help to educate and get not only to educate, get new thoughts and new lines of ideas to help shape our thoughts and opinions. So I want to thank you for that yet again, and it's a pleasure meeting you, Real Bart.
Yeah, it's a pleasure meeting you too. I'm so hype on you. You just dropped so much knowledge. And I agree with so much of what you're saying. So thank you for popping up on that. And I just wanted to kind of follow up on what Jay Chains was saying about leaders and making sure that a true leader knows when to follow. I think that is super important. For instance, with Real Gratitude, we have made sure to put together a dope advisory board and officers and on our actual board of our nonprofit. We have people that fit each role very specifically so that we know this is what this person specializes in. I can step back, let them do their job, and trust that it's going to be done. I think that's so important in communities to find, and as leaders to trust your community that you're building, that they can do their jobs is also imperative.
I love it. Really quick, I love, you spoke right before Barks did there. He is somebody that I did get to meet in real life. And I tell you what, like what Barks said, he's the real deal. Very genuine, speaks from the heart. And he's not going to bullshit you either. So there's several people on this stage, if you are listening, that you need to make sure that you follow them if you're not already. Providing absolute great value in this entire ecosystem. So just a shot, or just a shitty poet, excuse me. You got your hand? Go ahead.
Yeah, so we're talking about communities and stuff and how to get and like a little bit of how to get people involved in Web3, I think, too, is I tried to talk about this in other spaces, but I always get shut down. Is we need to take the communities that are already communities and already online and already know a little bit about online etiquette and already know about Web3 and kind of, I don't know a better word for this, so I'm going to use this word, but this is not the word I mean. Kind of force them into the Web3 community by like making projects. Like for example, there's the gaming community, the ARG community, like Oculus and stuff has been like making Web3 or like metaverse video games and stuff, and like making the gamers get into Web3. There's people working on ARG projects, alternative reality game projects, to get the huge ARG community into Web3, into the metaverse. There are people like the envelope in NFTs and stuff to get new artists, different types of artists. I'm a poet and I'm getting into NFTs, you know, like we need to get the communities that are already out there to get into it, because there's already these huge communities that we can tap into. I rest my mic.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think it's going to get easier. I think it's going to get so much easier. For instance, Instagram just had a Twitter space about NFTs and bringing them into their platform. And they offer a way for you to showcase your NFTs and digital collectibles. So I think that we are just going to get more and more into inviting people into Web3 without them even know that they're coming to the party. To be quite honest, I think it's just going to get easier and easier. But I think that's what leaves an opportunity for so many people, is that we are going to need people that understand the logistics, that talk to the computer algorithms, that verify things for the blockchain. And those jobs will never be able to go away, right? So if we can create that job for the real estate agent, which is obviously going to be displaced, as well as for people like title people that have always been there for the community, that are community centric, that, you know, specialize in their neighborhoods. If we can give them an outlet to create a platform that gives back to the community, but also gives them a way to tap into a network that they're already familiar with, just in a new technological way, I think it offers a way to, yes, we are displacing people, but we are placing them. We are giving them an opportunity still.
I love it.
Love that.
Love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That was dope. Awesome. What's up, my dude? Welcome today. How we doing? And also really quick, D-Hype, I don't know how you snuck up on stage. I don't know how you got in this room, and I didn't know you got here, but what is up, my dude?
That's correct. You're supposed to have like a parade and a red carpet for me so that I have no idea what I'm gonna say right now. I'm DMing Real Barkley being like, what are we doing here? Just eating breakfast like with Real Barkleys? Because I'm down for that. Like, do I need to bust out the maple sausages and the omelets, the Denver omelets? We're just talking about community here. What should I say something really smart about?
Say the smartest thing that comes to your mind right now.
I'll tell you right now is that this morning my hair is on fire about calling out bullshit, and I'm trying to figure out and get to the point of not wasting people's time and actually doing things that matter to us. In fact, someone told me this morning something along the lines of from like they're part of that like teddy bear project, whatever, that nobody has any idea what's going on in Web3 or what's successful or why anybody's doing anything. And I was like, that's the complete opposite of the truth. People are actually doing a lot of things here, building community and actually doing projects that actually are trying to make a difference and like do things and connect with people that actually like care about and build like really amazing relationships. And oh my God, did that get people upset? Like they didn't directly address that, but they started calling me names and stuff because a lot of people are here just to like flip things and make money, or they're just a bunch of degens hanging out, not knowing what to do with their time, looking for other people to lead them or other people or some reason to feel like they're important. Well, guess what? The only way that you're actually important is if you're doing something that helps somebody else. That's like the truth. And I'm guessing that many people in the room understand this. And anytime one of my friends opens up a room, like Barks or Cat or J Chains, or maybe like let's see who else is Mama Bear is in here too, and Turbo, lots of cool people in here, right? I'm gonna go in there and hang out and like try to contribute and help if I can, right? So that sentiment is like really awesome and real. And we're talking about Real Barks Project, which I mean, you could spend all day talking about all the stuff you're doing, Barks, giving out toys to the kids and building community and stuff that like helps people, gives back. Because that's, I think, I open up Twitter and I see so many people talking about real estate and all these things happening and like people going back to work in the offices or not, and how all this is gonna like happen with the economy. What's really happening here? And I think the thing is that like now with social media, we can become more conscious and have smarter moves and build companies and projects that are hopefully more sustainable and more connected to the community and whatever that way that looks. And so Barkley, your organization that you're starting is trying to do that, which is really cool. And it's kind of scary to me, to be honest, because when you're really trying to do things that have impact and take a lot of work, it takes a lot of people and work to do that. And when you're just doing it yourself, Barkley, you can rely on yourself, and you can do that. You can rely on yourself because you're an awesome person. So you have to find people that are really, really awesome, and you found cool people that have like worked in startups before, or I should say nonprofits. So what you're doing is like a really big, huge venture. It's really fucking big, like conceptually wise, with the people that you have to work with and stuff. So you're a badass and people can feel that energy from you, your confidence. You're just like love what you do, and that's dangerous and it's scary and it's crazy and it's cool. It really is. That Barkley, you're in every space all the time, everywhere I go.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now.
I
Like
know.
all the
I'm
things.
always hopping in the spaces.
Everyone hop on the Barkley train.
Get on the Barkley train. If you have not started following her yet, do it. Really quick, Mr. Hype. I don't know. Again, I don't know when you popped into our space today, but I know that we were talking about something that would probably go right up your alley. And you know, we're talking kind of about like the whole messaging of Web3 and all this stuff, and how we need to create a very massive global campaign of the awareness of our sense of community, what Web3 is, who we are, what we want for people. Right. And you know, really dispel the myths of this isn't crypto. This isn't centralized entities like, you know, Sam Bankman-Fried and some of these other fraudsters. Right. This is the people, for the people, by the people kind of thing, like in a real way. And so, Dougie, I think that you are probably much needed on the squad. And by joining the space today was your application. And I can tell you that you have been accepted into the squad.
What kind of squad is this? Is it just called the squad? Do we have a cool name?
Yeah, well, for now, it's a working title. The squad is the working title. I know that that's a bad morning TV show or something, but we'll change it to something a little bit better when we have a little bit better idea of this global campaign. But it was really, I think it's teaching people that they are worth investing in, and that the whole idea of Web3 and where we're going is about community, for the community, by the community, and it's all about respect and love and who we are. Awesome. I know you had your hand up for a minute. Sorry that we talked over that. So what you got, my man?
Yo, 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 it's your boy Awesome as JL, aka the biggest music artist in the metaverse. Major shout out to Jay Chain, shout out to Real. I just wanted to touch on something that Real was saying. Like, people are being onboarded into Web3, whether they know it or not. The one of the most recent things that happened for me that was kind of funny. So I'm an avid gamer, right? I like the game a lot. So I logged into my PS5 app, and lo and behold, when I logged in, it said, start collecting digital collectibles now. Click this button. And I was just looking around, like scratching my head, like, you mean NFTs? Like what's going on, right? And it's so funny how they changed the language. The new language is digital collectibles now, because NFTs, I guess it kind of caught a bad rep, especially with gamers.
Mhm.
And so when gamers see NFT, they tend to run in the opposite direction. But they switched the language up, and now they're literally on the PlayStation Store, like as soon as you log in. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I like that. I thought that was, PlayStation did, or Sony did a really good job of kind of sneaking that in. It's because they had filed for all of their trademark patents last year, and then just announced it like a couple weeks ago. And so I thought that was, one of those moves behind the scenes that was very, very well done and orchestrated. And then now, if that's actually like even in the PlayStation Store, dude, that's massive. And something we were talking about a little bit ago was kind of like the nomenclature and how we go about discussing and bringing up all these ideas and philosophies of Web3 and crypto and blockchain, all that shit, and how most of the time we're using words that people either don't need to know or don't have any idea what that means. And so finding ways to, again, change the way that we speak when we're talking about these things could go a long way. And if it, again, and I even brought up that point that NFTs, that nomenclature may have to change as well, because look, what if the gamers, which I think is going to be one of the largest ushering in of this quote unquote mass adoption into our ecosystem, is going to be through gaming. And so if the words don't work for them, let's find something that does, because that's how we get millions and millions of eyes into an ecosystem where again, if you got to use the technology without realizing you're using it. And if you're playing a game and it's on the blockchain and they're using the technology, earning the coins, using the NFTs, guess what? They are participating in this ecosystem, and that right there is another step towards, again, quote unquote mass adoption. Because what truly is mass adoption? I want to know what the percentage of people using blockchain is to technically be considered mass adoption.
Well, if your parents start using it, then that's definitely mass adoption. Telling you right now. I think it's gonna be just like Venmo and all the other stuff. I've been saying this for 6 months. Once people just start using it without knowing they're using it, and then they just are used to using it all the time, it's gonna just become a thing. But it will take a little bit of time for that, I think, for it to happen.
Right.
I don't know, maybe a year or two. We'll see.
I mean, it's like you got to think about, it's just any kind of technology as it changes. People are reluctant. Think about cell phones. People were afraid of that. Think about the internet. Well, the internet's not going to work, or you don't have to explain the internet to anybody. You just go on and use it. I see a couple hands. Mark.
Yeah, I completely agree. And just to kind of touch on what you were saying with the gamification, I think that gamification is the immediate future. I think that is going to be the easiest way for people to get onboarded into the community, which is why we are literally gamifying give back, right? So it targets not only people that like IRL events, it targets people that like to earn rewards for things that give back to the community and like making graphics for us, doing things that contribute from your own home. There are tons of ways to get involved, but basically it's gamifying contribution, which I think is going to be a big step. And then also I wanted to just give a shout out to Crypto Casually, who entered the room. He is actually, have you met Crypto Casually yet?
Oh, we're homeboys. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, so I just minted one of the NFTs, and we are gonna get it, and this is alpha here. I haven't told anybody yet. We are going to get a custom track made for Real Gratitude. So we've got that in the works.
Let's fucking go then. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go. Yo, what's
Let's
up?
go. Get it.
What's up, Casually?
What's Gucci?
Oh, another day in the life, man. We're out here, trying to spread positivity, have a good time, and talk with the community. Doing it. We're doing it. We are doing it.
There you go.
There we go. Got to remove some words from the vocabulary, right?
Positive affirmation.
Yeah. What's going on with you, man? How's your day going?
Well, it's good. I just went to the Rural King here where I live, and I went in for a can of spray paint, and I came out with like $200 worth of bullshit. Right, so I got some cool lights and shit for the studio. I got my studio going at the crib now. I got the soundproof stuff. Just extra shit I don't need at all. Right, probably not even the right stuff. Right, but it's gonna be a good 4 hours. Let my OCD run wild with that, and it's gonna be a good day.
Love it.
We're making music. We always making music. You know how it is, but man, we got a couple hands up, bro. Why don't you get these people first?
There we go. No, really quick, man. Keep talking about. So, like Barks had said, you got your music pass, and she's gonna get herself a little custom song. Talk about that really quick, because listen, music and NFTs and kind of like the direction that you're taking it, I love it. It's that gamification of kind of this entire ecosystem. People want incentive. People want incentive to join it. Well, why not get a custom song, right?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely it hits a target audience that might be a little bit. I'm not saying more far spread of a reach, but it's going to target maybe a little bit different demographic than you shilling your own project, doing your own marketing, having something, a third party like a musician that's tapped in with the spaces in the other communities can kind of get some light on your project. So it's definitely beneficial on both ends, but it really just brings people together. Like no bullshit. Like I've done a lot of tracks this year. I've done about 80 songs for projects, and almost all of them, like camaraderie is built in that moment, after that moment, and it's huge. The relationships are everything out here. So that's a big part of it for me as well. A regular track, not with the CC passes, $500 and up. If you're Nessie, it's an Ethereum. You know what I'm saying? Like, for 100 and some change, you can get the same thing on top of all my music airdrop to you on the blockchain. Anything I create goes to the wallet that you minted with. There's so many things, and I've got my 5th smart contract I've made now on Manifold. I've been like going hard on trying to learn that, because I'm bringing that to my peoples too. I'll make them a track. I'll mint you a smart contract. I'll make you a smart contract. I'll make you a claim page. You can put your wallet on there. Like, I want to teach people how to make some fucking money with this shit. Like, we got to learn how to ask for money in the right way. That's how you monetize. People know what to do. They just don't know how to ask the right way.
Yeah, I mean, especially in your industry, man. In the music industry, we all know. I'm not a musician, but I know very well. I've been covering a lot of the stuff. I've been, very well in tune with the predatory nature of contracts from big companies that sign artists and stuff. So like, the more that you can do as an independent artist in this industry is massive. And teach you, it's that whole teach them how to fish thing, man. Like, yeah, you can cut them a track, you can be a producer and all that stuff, but if you could teach them how to fish, man, that'll last them a lifetime. And it hopefully embodies that entrepreneurial mindset into some people. And I think really that's one of the gifts of Web3. Yo.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
My bad.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm excited. I'm all worked up, right? Yo, yesterday I did this 2 days ago. I implemented that, like the whole I'll do the contracts with you and stuff. Nessie, I walked him his first one. He's got 2 of them done now. I walked him step by step through that one. T Banks walked him step. This is all yesterday. Walked him step. He's got his one done. Rizzo, I had on the phone last night. Now Rizzo's gonna need a couple more phone calls. But what I'm saying is like, it's not that difficult to learn. It's just intimidating when you're not sure where to read, what to read. You know what I'm saying? But like, when you have somebody that you trust, at least telling you, hey, that's good information. Like that's what we need here.
Well, welcome to
Feel me?
blockchain, man. I can tell you the first
Thank you.
10 to 20 transactions I ever had sending crypto scared the shit out of me. I definitely fumbled a few of them here and there, but that's why you learn.
I'm
You
still
learn.
waiting for
You
your
learn.
name come through on the mint list too, by the way. Don't think that you're getting away from me like that easy. You know what I'm saying?
I'm holding out for a specific number.
My man.
You're going to 100, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got a lucky number that I'm waiting for.
10-4.
That's I'm a numbers guy. I'm like I wouldn't say that I'm not like a math guy. There's just like I'm a numbers guy. So.
For sure.
Right?
Also, do your thing, bro. I got big love for you no matter what. You know
Come
what
on,
I
man.
mean?
You know that I'm here to support you.
You know what time it is out here, JJ?
I know what time it is. You know that I'm here to support you, but I do have a specific number that I'm waiting for you to hit on your mint before I try to jump in. What up, Fitty?
No doubt, and I appreciate you. Say his name, say his name. He's got some hot sauce.
What up, guys? I'm just at Starbucks having a little bit of hot sauce in my coffee.
Disgusting.
Dude, I would try that.
Oh yeah,
That
why not?
sounds awful, but glad you're enjoying yourself.
Oh yeah. I just put a little bit of medium hot sauce in my coffee with some oat milk. It's perfect.
I will tell you what, oat milk in my coffee has changed my life. First off, I've been drinking black coffee since I started drinking coffee. I never liked cream and sugar. I thought it was really gross. But we get this oat milk creamer that has literally changed my life. Oat milk is the best milk. And I'll tell you guys one thing. I'm a really weird guy. I would never drink cow's milk. Do you know any other species on this planet that voluntarily drinks another species' milk?
Don't get me fucking started on milk, bro.
Yeah, we will derail this space so quickly with that
Saliva.
conversation.
Didish will have freaking sheep's milk in his coffee, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Should we get to some hands? Should we get to some hands?
Yeah. Let's get some.
We got him
You
building
come
up
in here,
now.
we're off the fucking rails already. It's 11:30 Eastern. Let's go.
Let's fucking go. Should we get to Shitty Poet?
Yeah,
I know
let's
she's been.
go shitty poet
I'm
first.
gonna mute myself because it's loud in here. But I just want to pop in and say hello to everybody. How you doing?
Hey, bro, appreciate
Much love, Fitty.
appreciate you
Thank
popping in, Fitty, man. Always love you popping into space, man.
Absolutely. How's the family?
Great, man. My daughter is so cool. She's just awesome. So thank you for asking. How's your family?
I'm gonna mute. Listen.
All right, cool.
Thank you for passing the mic. I just wanted to go back to our talk about gamification. So, like, I'm sure not a lot of you don't know what like ARGs are. So I'll explain a little bit. What ARGs are these like mental mind puzzles that take place currently on like YouTube, on Twitter, on Reddit, and a mix of all of them. And it's kind of like a video game, but for writers. Like it's a mental mind puzzle, right? But what me and some other creators have been doing are trying to we've been making these ARGs on just outlines right now because we don't have the plots of land in the metaverse yet. But once we get the plots of land, we're going to make these ARGs into immersive experiences. You guys might have heard of the back rooms. That's an ARG. And so like it's going to be, instead of watching the stuff, you're immersed in it and you can literally find clues, and that'll be more of an actual video game type thing too. And like so that's how like we're doing the ARG gamification of it. So like people don't even realize, but it's like so much more immersive and interesting that way. And that's just all I wanted to say. Thank you for letting me talk.
Oh, absolutely. You rock. I threw that follow back. Definitely. You're going to be a guest on a space sometime. You rock. Whoop, whoop. Let's see. Manny, welcome to the space. Go ahead.
What's up, Manny?
Yo, what up, Doug? What up, Real Barkley? What up, Jay? Just jumping in. It's early in the morning. Driving my nephew to work. But yeah, I'm just chilling. Wanted to see what's popping. Wish you all a great fucking day. It's Tuesday. We got.
I think he rugged because he's calling from the past.
Yeah, I think he's rugging.
Man, he's too powerful for Twitter.
Nah,
That's the problem.
it's his face mask he's got on there.
Well,
he ain't getting no
he said it was Tuesday.
Nah,
I think
I wanted to chime in and just say what's good. My bad. I had my fucking AirPods on. But no, I wanted to chime in and see what's good. It's Tuesday. I know I came out here to support D Hype and the Real Barks. What up, Jay, and everybody else. know, and yeah, just see what's good with y'all. Wish y'all good morning. Let's fucking go.
GM, LFG, baby. LF Grow. What do you guys like better? I love LFG. I love Let's Fucking Go, but I also
Let's
like
fucking go.
Let's Fucking
Let's
Grow.
fucking go. Life's fucking
I like
great.
both of them. I think both of them are
Better
reusable.
than the metaverse. Let's fucking go. Shout out Jay Lee.
Manny, are you gonna come to the space on Friday?
Yeah, just hit me with a tag. I'll pull up. You know.
Right on, yeah.
It's so
And
hard for me to keep up with shit, but you know what it is. Let's get it.
I do. And just to shill that space a little bit, we are gonna just because before we get off topic too much, we are going to be having a space where we're going to be talking all about real gratitude. Introducing one of our board members, Alexa Mill, who is a global lawyer that specializes in DAOs and governance and tokens. She is going to be speaking at our meeting on Friday. It's at 9 a.m. Pacific time, and then noon Eastern time. So whichever time you fall in, we would love to have you there. We'll be talking all about that, and then also some official documents and stuff that we have to get squared away, but it'll be a lot of alpha and a lot of fun. We keep it super loose, super fun.
Is there a you know what's funny you said that Barks and how you were describing the time with the time zones. Is there a way that, and I know UTC solves that, but what the problem is that conversion of UTC is fucking impossible. Is there a way that we can shorten the way, like if I got to say, hey, like the meeting's at 10 PE, like you would understand that it's 10 p.m. Eastern, or 7 PP, like 7 p. Pacific. Can we do stuff like that, or is that no one would get it? Because I do like to text talk sometimes is important because it's you just shorten what you need to say and just it's a little easier to digest, right? How do we do that?
Do we just use Eastern time for everything? Because that's what everyone does anyways, really.
Works for me. That's where I live. Let's go.
You guys do. But like, you know, most Twitter spaces that we are involved with are like kind of centered around like North America mostly, and Eastern time. It gets confusing because people are often throwing out just random time zones all the time, and UTC is like the hardest one to figure out. So like,
shout out D-Hype.
Yeah, exactly. Crypto's like, yeah, just do that. Why not just do what's the easy thing? Because we can do whatever we want, right? Jay Chain just do Eastern.
That's it. We're just good guys. We're just from now on, we're just living on East Coast time zone here in the US. Sorry to all the other time zones. I got a lot of friends in California.
Hey, that's what we used to do. That's what we used to do, bro, back in the day. Like we all
Don't forget Canada too.
We all decided to go on a standard clock hour because we could never be on each other's time. So we said, fuck it, we'll just be on the East Coast time. And it was hard because some of us had to be up like at 7, 4 in the morning because some of these fucking rooms start early. But honestly, that was one of the solutions. But everybody still went back to just doing their own thing.
Fine if you don't go to bed at all, it works better. You know what I mean? They don't have to get up.
No, you got to rest. You got to rest that brain. Take care of that mental health. You can't be staying up all night every night. You got to recharge. You got to recharge, my man. That's how those songs will get better.
We should just go off of Manny time. Whenever Manny gets up to paint, that's when you should wake up in the damn morning. That's right, Manny.
I'm down for that.
You'll never get rest, man. You'll take like little interludes and naps, 2-hour naps every day, all day.
That's what we do.
That sounds exciting.
Sleeps.
So we've got a hand with Expoverse. Should we get to Expoverse?
Yes.
Before your hand falls off. Sorry about that, babe.
No, please don't apologize. I host spaces too. You guys are running a great conversation. It's about keeping the content going. Never apologize. Listen. I just have one complaint, and I want to compliment someone. Number one, spam caller just rugged me. Listen,
you got rugged.
Jay Chain, you provided absolutely no. Hold on, am I back? Yeah, I know it literally rugged me. You provided no breakfast. There's no pancakes. There's no toaster strudels. No Pop-Tarts. This is trash. But I will say that opinion by Shitty Poet. You might be a shitty poet, but that was a brilliant comparison.
Poet, actually.
Well, listen, the whole idea of AIG, these like AI games, this idea of these expanding, just art pieces. I'm going to call them that. I hate the word metaverse right now. It's too obscure. Guys, I was on a whole AI conversation this morning, and all of these artists were on there, and they're the most vulnerable to this. I can understand. I'm a shitty artist. I drew comic book characters when I was little, and that's all that counts. But the point is like, for someone who really has artistic talent, that's used to drawing these completely original monsters, characters, worlds, ideas, they are afraid that AI could take that away from them. And I really think that the suggestion, again, just a shitty poet said this, it's a phenomenal idea that art would change and become adaptive and dynamic, because here's what can be copied. A static piece of artwork. Let's say we paint the Lisa Mona, and it's I don't know, the Mona Lisa, but facing the other way, okay? And someone goes and they copy that. And that's easy to do. It's so easy to do. We've been doing that for years, but something that can't be copied is an ever-expanding world that is a huge art display and created by AI, so that every millisecond, another inch of that world is being automatically designed. Now, I can promise all of you, this is going to be years in the making, probably. It could take a while, but when it comes to AI design that literally can't be replicated, it will need to be a form of art that is continually evolving. And that's where I see this going. Like I'm telling you, Jay Chains, you're going to be able to literally load into pieces of artwork. It's like, holy shit, what was that show? There was a kid show, and they would jump into the portrait and be in another world. That's what's going to happen. I don't know if it was Blue's Clues or what, but like that's what I'm imagining.
This guy's getting.
Bro, listen, I knew someone was going to think, listen, I know I sound crazy, guys, but the answer to AI artwork not copying everyone is to basically watermark your artwork by making it everlasting, something that grows and adapts all the time. And robots and AI technology are going to make that possible. Sorry, this might sound like a really high shower thought, but like I'm being very serious. Like that is what artists will do. People's going to create his whole own metaverse. No one's ever going to be able to copy it. It will expand forever. And that is what the future of art is.
I
love it.
Thank you for the shout out. I'm really glad you like my idea.
Let's go.
First space ever been receptive to that. Like
I'm telling
and
you,
no
just
one
to
knows
share
what
info, it
ARGs
is.
are. Like
No, you're on it. No, like, oh, sorry, I was muted there. Yeah, just a shitty poet. Like I'm telling you, you are on it. I know I sound arrogant right now, but I talk to people about this every day. And I don't know why more people haven't gotten into this whole, wait a minute, why do they have to be metaverses? Why can't they be expanding pieces of art? Like, that's a different take on this that will change the way we buy and sell artwork. It's going to become, wow, there's going to be so many layers to it. It's going to have to be a whole new industry. It's going to go way beyond art because it's,
well, to bring up your
What was that
point,
you said, Jay?
if you bring up your point, like if we can change the word metaverse, which I think at this point is a negative for most people, hey, there's another solution. We've been talking about that all day. Is that, you know, it's sometimes it's the way that we're calling these things that are a total turnoff to people, or you know, the deterrent, you know, whatever. I think honestly, the word meta is a bad. They fucked up metaverse, because now everybody thinks meta is metaverse, and like that it'll never work with that word, because no one trusts Zuckerberg. No one trusts what they're doing.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Has anybody heard of the project Ritual?
No. Maybe
It's
I
a
have.
project. It's
No,
a
I
project.
haven't.
It's a project where you get one mint, and it evolves over time, and it will never show the same image for over 4 million years. And it's a project that's similar to what the gentleman was saying, where it just continuously evolves after the first mint, and out of, I don't know, however many mints they have, but there will never be a duplicate visual of that same image for another 4 million years.
That's crazy.
So the technology is out there, but it's programming it so that it's adaptable in real time, so that people can understand what's going on. Because I mean, rituals, you buy it, you add it up to your thing, you connect it, and it constantly evolves. It just looks like a pendulum that's just constantly evolving, but no two images will ever repeat for another 4 million years. And it's there, like the technology is there. It's just finding ways to implement it to the new technology that keeps evolving, you know, with whether it's a new blockchain, whether it's finding better processors to help us keep up with, you know, the different digiverses that are around. And that's what I like to call them, digiverse, because everything's going to be digital. And that's how, if we start using the proper terminology so that people can accept it rather than making up these fucking terms like gas fees. You mean it's just a transaction fee? You know, that's what's like, you get these disconnects because as artists, we think of ways, we want to milk the lemon, we want to juice the cow for every single drop, you know, and that's what we do. We think above and beyond, and we really need to scale it back a little so that we can not in a bad way, but dumb it down so people can understand what we're trying to do as creatives, because creatives run everything. It's like the table you sit on, the shirt you wear, everything was designed by a creator. And until people start to catch the drift of the technology and the understanding of what it actually can do, then they'll start to be more accepting of it rather than, oh, you know, hearing what the news promotes about 90% failure. And sometimes people go to these conferences, and the conferences even, they talk about it like, oh, if you're getting into crypto brand new, you better be prepared for a 90% loss. And it's like, honestly, it just depends on how you play the game. It's all a gamble. At the end of the day, buy what you like, you know, don't just buy something for the FUD. Buy it because you like the art, because at the end of the day, if that project goes to zero, you're still comfortable with what you bought. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree with the whole technology side of things. It's gonna take off faster than we think. I've been dabbling into a few companies where they're creating an in real life immersive experience where you can go online to you can put on a VR headset and be like, say, in my studio in real time as I do live art. And the technology, the companies, all this stuff is going to keep popping up. In the beginning, it was a bunch of us working out of our garages, you know, trying to figure out what we can do, like little inventors. Now you have all these big wigs coming in with big corporate company, big money, the proper technology, minds that are just fucking astronomical. And these are the ones who are trying to bring this new tech to us, where we feel and we see how we can utilize it. And it's going to be a never ending game of growth and more technology and more growth and then push and pull. But it's the ones who continuously push the envelope and stay consistent in the space that will end up on top. You know, that's just the way I see it.
Love it. I couldn't agree with you more, especially what you said there at the end there, Manny. Appreciate you. Kat, you had your hand up for a minute. Go ahead.
Well, good morning. I
GM,
just wanted to say hello. Hi, guys.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
How is the
Hi.
fairy godmother doing?
Oh, Fairy Godmother is expanding daily. I am just incredibly grateful. I am buzzing today. And man, this conversation has such high vibes. First of all, I have to say this, that you know what? I don't understand why it's lost in the crypto world that most businesses have a rocky start. I mean, they have proven that in the first year of business, nearly 20% of normal any business fails. And the second to third years, it goes to 45%. And in the first 5 years, it goes up to 65% of businesses that actually fail. That is globally in any market. So for people to come in and say, oh, be prepared for, you know what, be prepared for anything. Have some thick skin, have some business knowledge, get a team, get some people who know what they're doing. You know what? We're pioneers and we're creating the roadmap. We don't ask if it's possible. We just prove that it is. We don't ask for permission. We just go out there and make it happen. Because when it comes down to it, it's not can we do this? It's a matter of how can we make this happen? Because entrepreneurs and people that are creating creatives, like you said, like you said, this chair, this shirt, this phone, everything that we're doing, the technology was literally made by somebody. Somebody's brain caught this idea and this image from the ethers and literally brought it down and decided to take action on it and bring it into a manifested reality. We have this incredible power. We are 99.999999999% energy. Where we focus is where the energy appears. Where we look, where we gaze is literally where the electron appears. This is scientific. This is quantum physics. This isn't just woo-woo loving spiritual stuff, which is my heart. But let's get serious. Like, this is where we actually put our focus and our energy. And when we're creating like this, we don't ask permission. We don't ask if it's possible. We just prove that it can be done. And if it can't, you know what? Then something else beautiful will be created out of it.
So we have to stop doubting ourselves. And I love the strength in this space that we're holding each other to a higher standard and a higher accountability, because that's what we need. We need to know that we are worthy. You personally right now need to know that your idea is valid. You are worth seeing your dream come into reality. You are worth being part of this space. We are all worthy. And we were born worthy. We don't have to do anything to be worthy. We were born worth making something beautiful in this world. We were born worth working together and finding out what's possible. I mean, Henry Ford didn't ask if a 8-cylinder engine was possible. He told his people, go make this happen out of one single engine block. And they were like, this isn't possible. And he said, make it possible. And they came back a year later and they said, this is not possible. And he said, make it possible. That anything is possible that we put our head and our hearts and our minds to. And when you take some action, inspired action every single day. And yes, it's hard. Yes, we're going to get knocked back down. Yes, we're going to fail. But guess what? That's how we learn. That's how we build character. That's how we should be celebrating our falls and our failures and our skin knees and our shinners. And we should be celebrating these things together. And also just believing in each other and rising together. And just, you guys, there's so much gold here. There's so much incredible energy. There's just
On that, I've failed like 6 businesses when I was younger, since I was 16, and I just learned from them.
beautiful.
You're so right.
I love it.
Is this app free?
How did y'all
Is
just
this
act like none of that just happened?
we got you just boot them out and you just keep moving on. Is this app free though, for real? Like, is this like Kat, like some of the positivity that literally comes out of this? And guys, again, and we'll get ready to wrap this thing up, because Barkley and I'd asked you to come hang out for an hour. It's been almost 2. This conversation has just been so amazing, and I appreciate everybody that's participated and listened and been here. But the Kat, what you just said was so inspiring. And then I say, and I just say, like, is this app free? Really? Like, you could come in here and listen to that and get that kind of information and get that kind of take it for what you need it for. Is it motivational? Is it what you needed to get yourself into Web3, change your life? Is it to get into a new community that maybe it is mental health awareness, or maybe it's a VC club, or whatever it is? This industry has so much opportunity for everybody, and there's so many things that you can do to get in and be a part of it. You get in where you fit in. And that's the main message, is that there is so much opportunity here. Don't screw it up. Don't capitulate. Build your network, build your opportunities. Say something nice about somebody. Say something nice about someone you love. Be a friend, be a father, be a mother, be a sister, a brother, a dad, a mom, a friend, whatever it is. Just be positive to somebody. And again, we are going to create a global awareness campaign that is going to tell people that the people of Web3 are here. We mean business, and we are here to create a voice for people that is out of love and positivity. So, Barks, I appreciate you hopping up with me today. Golly, it was such a great conversation. Everybody that participated. Any final thoughts from you before we run it out?
I think that there's just so many good creators in this room. I just wanted to give one more shout out to Mike TFC, who actually is our vice president of our nonprofit. We are officially voting him in tomorrow, or on Friday. So come to that, and you'll be able to hear him talk a little bit more about the project and why he's passionate about it, and all that he brings to the community. But I'd say my final words are just keep going. This market is just hit after hit after hit. But you have to develop that skin, and you have to develop that eye for the ball that, no matter what pitch gets thrown, you're going to knock it out of the park, right? And even on the swings that you don't miss, remember 300 is a good batting score. So just learn from the swings that you take, that you miss, and just keep going, because that's what matters right now, is just keep going. That's all I can really say as a founder. I know it just gets hard, but just every day, just wake up and keep going.
Just do it. Just do it. All right. Parks, I appreciate you again. Everybody that listened, participated. Y'all are the awesome ones here. Thank you so much. We will be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern for our Thursday show. So do something cool today and come talk to us about it tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Thank you so much.